Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. It's me, JP, and we are here for JP's product pick of the week. Thanks so much for stopping by. We've got people over in our chats. Thanks for hitting up the YouTube chat, Dave Odessa and Tackle the World. Good to see you over there. And over in this right here, our Discord chat. You can get there. If you're somewhere else that doesn't seem to have a chat, just go to adafru.it. It's adafru.it/Discord and look for the direct link. It'll take you to our server. And then this right here, live broadcast chat channel. That is where people are hanging out. Hello, Liz, who just popped in. Hi, Finman, Paul Cutler. Hello. Hey, Sam J. Ohio. Hey, Abadaus. Howdy. Thanks for joining us. So, what's going on here? I've got a product pick, a new product pick, and a fun little demo, I think. What you can do is head to this URL right here. That means that you will be inside the product page where we have a 50% off discount going, which is our custom when it's an Adafruit product and we can afford the lop a bit off of the gravy there. Go buy some. Go buy 10. You can get up to 10 of them. I don't know what your plans are. And no resellers, but this is just during the show. So no rain checks, no back orders, nothing like that. Just during the show, the price is already slashed in half. You don't need a coupon code. Just chuck it in your cart. Buy it. Buy some stuff to go along with it. And you'll be happy and you'll have saved some money, I promise. Happiness guaranteed. So head to that QR code, that URL. This show is being broadcast from inside of there. What I'll do is have Lady Ada tell us a little bit about this product from her new segment from Ask an Engineer a little while ago. And then we'll jump into a demo. So take it away, Lady Ada.
Next up, the LPS28. We covered this on INPI a couple months ago, a couple years ago, and then the pressure sensor was unavailable because the part shortage, and then it became available again. So we made a breakout board for it. What's really cool about this is it can do up to 4,000 hectopascals or bars, which is unusual. Most pressure sensors max out at about 1260, which is a little bit higher pressure than sea level, but this can go down, I think, 30 or 40 meters below sea level. So this could be good for like UAV projects, not UAV, UA underwater, whatever, underwater robots, whatever the UAVs are called, or depth sensors that are in or pressure sensors that are in a enclosure that could get to higher pressures than atmospheric pressure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Not a lot to say about that. That was a quick one. But it's okay because, first of all, if you go to the product page, you'll be able to click a link to see that eye on NPI, which is interesting if you want to get much more in depth about the sensor itself. But the board right here, this is the product pick of the week this week. It is the LPS28 pressure sensor. This is a high range pressure sensor that also has temperature sensing. And it has STEMMA QT ports, so you can connect it over I2C to your microcontroller projects. We also have pins out if you don't want to use the I2C STEMMA QT cable and just want to use pins. It has a ported sensor. Let me show you a close-up, in fact. Take a look at this. Right in the middle there, looks like a little camera lens or a little snout kind of thing. Birdo calls to mind. I don't know why. But this little port right here means that it can be connected to a case using an O-ring because it is water resistant. So it is designed for things like sports watches, other gear, GPS, stuff that might be out in the elements, could even be used underwater if you, of course, encase the whole thing waterproof. But the port itself has a gel in it. It allows it to work underwater and still do your pressure sensing. This one is actually got a dual. Let me say it's a dual full-scale absolute pressure sensor with a high pressure range, meaning this goes all the way up to around 4 bar of pressure, which is a lot. That's something like 40 meters underwater. So you can use this for sports watches, like they say in the data sheet. It goes down to about 0.26 bar, 260 hectopascals. So This makes it a pretty interesting one for a sip puff sensor, which is the demo I'm going to show you. And the fact that it has got a little ported element means that we can connect up some silicon tubing to it and do sip puff types of control on a microcontroller, which is pretty neat for all sorts of assistive devices. So let's pull that off of there and jump over to the product page. So you can see right here we have it for $6.25, so that's half off right now. New products team stashed a bunch. We had at least 100 in stock before the show, so you should be able to get one. You just want to get that before the end of the show, throw it in your cart. The price will go up right after the show. You may want to get a STEMMA QT cable for it. That's the little add-on that's listed here. And this works great with pretty much any microcontroller. It works in CircuitPython and in Arduino with easy-to-use drivers. If you scroll down a little bit, we have a link to, I don't know where the link went. I think there was a link to the Learn Guide that for some reason seems to have gone away. Maybe one of these blue links is here. But if you go and type in LPS 28 in Adafruit Learn Guide, you'll get to this one right here, this guide by Liz. Nice close-up photo of it there. And if we go to the pinout page, you'll see we've got power pins, V in, 3 volt and ground. We have the logic pins, so serial clock, serial data for using I2C, and those are available on the STEMMA QT ports as well. There's an interrupt pin. There are power and there's a power LED, so when it's on, you'll see a little green LED lit up. And there's also a jumper that you can use to cut that if you don't want to see that. You can also change the address. There are 2 addresses, so you can use 2 of these without multiplexing on a microcontroller. If you take a look at this CircuitPython and Python link, this will show you a little wiring diagram for both the microcontroller and for using on a Raspberry Pi, and then the setup that you need to use it in either of those, CircuitPython or Python. There's a nice little demo code here that will show you the temperature and the pressure. As you put your hand in front of it, you might see the temperature go up. If you try to blow on it or suck on the port, you might see a change there. Works best with something like this silicone tubing that I'll show you in a second. And in fact, you can grab some of that. Just look for this silicone tubing for a peristaltic liquid pump. This has an inside diameter, I think, of 2.5 millimeters, which fits pretty well on the port. And you can use a small zip tie or fishing line or something like that, or an O-ring to clamp that down. If you want to use this in Arduino, just scroll back up a bit and check out this Arduino link here. And then in the downloads section, we have a link to the data sheet right here from ST. This will show you some of the things like the operating temperature range, operating pressure range in the 2 different modes. So you can go to a sort of moderate mode, which goes 260 to 1260, or mode 2, which goes all the way up to 4060, so about 4 bar of pressure there. So let's take a look at this running in CircuitPython. I've got a little demo here. Let me pull up my code window here. So what I have right here are a feather and a little TFT feather wing breakout, and then I've got my LPS 28 pressure sensor just right here in the corner, and that's plugged in over STEMMA QT. I'm displaying the current temperature and pressure, so you can see it's saying around 995 hectopascal in the area where I am. However, I can change that rapidly and quite a lot with this little tube here, which you can see is ported onto the sensor there. So I'm going to sip. You can see that pressure changing, and if I blow on it, it says puff, and you can see that graph going up. Now the other thing you'll notice is I set this up as a scroll wheel, so I can scroll my code a little bit at a time if I just press with a little pressure, or a lot. So it's able to read that pressure, both sip and puff, quite accurately, enough to do things like this assistive device. Which is pretty cool. And you can use this also on websites. So if we go, let's say, to our Learn Guide, Let's go to a longer page. How about the pinout page? And cruise around that page, no hands. When I show you, I'm not cheating and using a real scroll wheel, just by changing the pressure at the sensor on the board there. So let's see if there's any questions in the chat. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's a barometer. You can use it for just weather stuff, but you can also use it for some of these more interesting applications. So Jeff Hunt says, hey all, is there a Learn guide for this? So yeah, there's a couple Learn guides of interest actually. So one is just the Learn guide for this board, LPS 28. If you go to the Learn search bar and type in, I believe, SIP, you'll see Circuit Python powered SIP and Puff. This is a guide that Brian Siepert wrote on a different chip, but basically it all applies there. So there's some nice info there on connecting up your devices using a tube there with a zip tie, some example code. So if you go to the main sample code that Liz put in this Learn guide here, it's a really good launching point. You can see how this works just by scrolling down and checking out this code. So you will instantiate the sensor and then simply say sensor, ask for sensor.pressure or sensor.temperature. And then there's also some info there for adjusting the averaging that'll happen. And if you're going to be in the full scale, which is up to the 4 bar, or the sort of default non-full scale mode, which is up to about 1 bar of pressure. So that also has some, if you're using interrupts, there's sensor.data-ready. There's a pulse for that you can check, and then some other specifics that you can do on the code there that you can find inside of CircuitPython and in Arduino. Let's see. So I'm not sure about this question. UNESCO 7 says, one simply measure water pressure with it. You can. I don't have a waterproof anything other than just the tube to the port on the sensor. That is all waterproof, but the rest of my setup here is not, so I can't just dunk this thing. But you could build this if you built a proper enclosure, proper waterproof enclosure. You could use this for water pressure sensing. Also, you can use like a turkey baster bulb, that type of pressure bulb, to trigger these. It's difficult to change the pressure on such a small piece of tubing, but if you look at, let me go back to the down shooter here for a second. If you look at the pressure on there right now, 995 point, let's call it 6. If I squeeze the tube in a few places, I might be able to up that pressure. You can see the major number changing there. So it's possible with this, but obviously a larger bulb like device, or someone said a whoopee cushion over in the chat would work well. Tyeth Gundry said probably a whoopee cushion would work. Yeah, Jeff, the tube that fits is 2.5 millimeter inside diameter. So that's this one right here. I may have already answered that question for you, but that one seems to work pretty well. Let's see. Can you extend fluid through a tube since the whole module is not liquid proof? Yeah, that's a good point. So if we fill this with water and put this underwater, leaving the rest of this above water, we should be able to measure water pressure. Could work in my coffee maker. Yeah, the espresso machine is at about, I want to say, 8 bar pressure during shot pulling. So you'd need if you're trying to replace something or update an espresso machine, you'd need a higher pressure sensor than this one. You could check, I think the steam tank pressure is at about 1.5 bar or so. Let's see, question in the chat. Let me bring up the chat over here, over in the Discord. Come back to this. Is there an index of JP's product picks? The only one I know of that's sort of like that is not really an index, but on YouTube there's a playlist, and that has all of them. So that's the one way that I know of. It would be nice if we tagged them or something like that, but I don't have anything in the store as far as I know. Let's see, other questions? I think that's it. I think that covers it. Yeah, so pretty cool little sensor, and you can do something like this, use it as an assistive device. You can use it just for some regular barometric readings. It's pretty versatile, pretty inexpensive, and I'll bring this back up right now. It's half off, so head on over to that URL right there, and you can get the discount during the live stream. It is still in stock, so go grab one and have some fun with that. Okay, I think that will wrap us up. So that right there is my product pick of the week this week. It is the LPS 28 pressure sensor. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been JP's product pick of the week. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.